Hello, my name is Arthur, and in the last few videos we put together and got this fixed position working, and now it's time to address an issue that applies to all turrets. So what's going on is right now if a tank comes behind this turret, it's going to start elevating upwards because a tank is higher than the gun position, so it's going to come up to its maximum elevation and then start turning because that's what it's being told to do. So we have to fix the way that the turret is working in terms of elevation so that it only elevates when it's facing towards an oncoming enemy. And then maybe we'll get to we'll do a little bit with an emitter and change his muzzle flash, but I don't want to do all of the emitters for videos, so some of those emitters are now going to just get changed, and I've already done what I can with that topic. So let's look at the turret. So everything is working the way that it's told to work, but where we have a problem is in here. Some of this is written wrong anyways. There's not a lot of use using a match for two options. So we're going to change the way that works. Now, direction Y, we're going to take this, and instead of doing a match, we're going to copy this, we're going to put it up to here, and paste it in. So now what happens is direction is going to address rotation Y first. Okay, so this part we'll just comment it out for now. So we'll just comment that. So we're going to assume the axis is Y, and then we'll go if axis equals X and ABS direction. So we already know the Y direction, and we can look if it's like less than 30, we'll go with 30 degrees. So if it's less than 30, then direction equals compass rotation X, and then else direction equals 0. And this is just a capital typo there. And this unexpected assign, oh, and this there. So that should stop it from elevating unless it's facing within 60 degrees. So there's a 60-degree arch, and that's plenty of time for elevation. So that should fix that issue. And yeah, the easiest way to find out is because that issue showed itself right away when the tank came into range of the grenade turret. The same thing would happen if the issue still exists, but I know that it doesn't now. This is going to fix that. So we'll just get where we can see, and we'll sort of wrangle the tank around so that he comes up more behind this position, and it won't elevate or anything now until it gets within. Okay, something is stopped here. Okay, I know what it is. It's this. It has to be elif axes equals x. Oh, no. Here's what we'll do. We'll go greater than 30. Return 0. And then elif axes equals x. And this part can go. So that should get it. That should fix that. We basically made it so it would always be 0. Unless they were pointing right at each other. So something like that. Hopefully this one gets it. So it's aiming, it's not elevating, and it elevated a little bit. And the elevation is very small because the tank is only a little bit above. Looks to me like, kind of looked to me like that grenade position was taking friendly fire. Wonder if I can get that to happen again. I don't know if I would want to leave friendly fire happening or not. But it kind of looked like friendly fire was happening there. Okay, so that's working, and we could go into that turret, take out the commented parts. And there might be a better way to write that. Which could be like if axes equals x, well, I'm happy with that. That'll work out. That's okay. So the next thing I would look at now is the muzzle flash. So we're going to turn that to on. And turn off one shot. So that'll just get it going over and over again. And instead of fire, let's see if we can change that to smoke very easily. So we'll just come in here and let's watch the enemy tank. We're going to want to see that none of these changes end up on the enemy tank. I don't think it can, but so let's see. We're going to increase the deceleration so it's kind of like this. We'll increase the lifetime to like 0.75. So it's kind of like that. Let's give it a little bit of minus gravity. So let's try -5. Okay, +5. So gravity is minus by default. So that'll kind of getting it going up a little bit. And then we'll just change the gradient. So we'll delete this point, and this point. We'll change this point to a gray. So we'll get a light gray there, or actually a dark gray there, and then a light gray. So we'll get a darker gray and then a lighter gray. So something like that. And then we'll just put in some points here. We'll put that alpha back. And put this alpha back. And that would get us more of a smoke effect. So it's not going to do fire. This one will do smoke. And we could increase that lifetime a little bit. I think that would be okay. So let's get it at 1. And I'm going to call that good enough. So let's just make sure the enemy's muzzle flash is still the same. Okay. That didn't create any weird connections by copying. And the same with the enemy shell and the enemy grenade, because they're saved from each other. Well, actually that won't matter. It will be the shell blast that matters. So I'll adjust the shell blast, and that's not something we're going to make a video on. So let's look at the enemy shell and the player shell. So the player shell is just shell. So we're going to open those up. And I had actually intended to change the size of this shell. So let's just look at that. Let's bring the size of this up to 2. And then the size of this up to 4. We'll just leave the collision shapes. This is just for visual. And that's going to make it a little bit easier to see. And then we'll do the same to the enemy shell. So that's going to make it a little bit easier to see, and it's also going to help distinguish a difference. Then the other thing I was thinking about is maybe the material could be looked at also, and these ones probably share a material. But I was thinking if we brought this up, that might do something to help the visibility of that shell. So we'll put this one up to 5 too. And maybe that will help the visibility of the shells a little bit and get them a little more visible. And we'll look at doing that for the enemies or the grenade shell, so that it's applying to all of the things. Oh, okay. We forgot to put this back on to one shot. Then there's also another issue. One of the issues is explosion. So we have this explode, and this script needs to be changed to just having one explode. And what we'll do is we'll go like this. For index in get children, dot index dot emitting equals true. And that way, no matter how many emitters are in the particle emitters are in the explode, it will be able to do it. And this explode function will function, this script will function for any explosion. So we'll actually get rid of shell blast for the explosion, and we'll make them all have a universal explosion script. So that should get everything working properly now. And then for a next video, probably something map related, it's time to start making some map. Because now we know how to make a vehicle. We have scripts that'll work for any vehicle, any fixed position. That's an issue. We got to address range. So the range needs to be addressed, and but we have something that will work for his emission time is too long for his shoot time, so we'll have to fix that. But we'll we have everything in place to be able to add new vehicles, new fixed positions. The scripts should work for any of them. It's as long as we make the units right. And about the only thing we don't have an exception for is a vehicle that can't turn its gun. So maybe making vehicles that can't turn its gun is not a thing to do. So on this, his muzzle flash, the lifetime, that's not going to work out. So his lifetime pretty much needs to be short as, or shorter than its reload time. Otherwise he'll be shooting, but the emitter's only going to be able to do it once every so often. So we'll have to look at that. About the only way to fix that is to give it more than one emitter. And I don't see any way about that. So now it can keep up, and that's still an okay emission thing. Maybe the speed could get slowed down. It could use some adjustment. So that's it for this video. Yeah, I hope I've covered things good enough. There's still some project problems because of the nature of the experiment. So this project is a mess. This is not the way that folders should look. And some of this stuff is sort of just stuck together, that especially on the explosion, this is likely to just become a generalized explode. And things like Abrams and grenade position, well, all of these entries will end up having scale, and we'll add scene scale, so we'll scale the scene, and most of them will be 1, but for the grenade position it would have a scale like maybe 0.5 to shrink that explosion to the right size for the unit. So something like that. And the name, that can get changed, and the script can get changed with the name, or it can be left the way that it is, because it is just a name, and it can just be treated like a generalized explode. So yeah, that's it for this video. We've made our explosion script so that we only actually need 1. It works. Everything is working pretty much as it should, and there's a little bit of refining in emitters. So yeah, in the next video we'll start looking at some map, and maybe how to use map and strategy or something like that. And until then, take care.